If I said to you, what is the single most important factor that will determine over the course of the next 2 weeks who wins the NBA championship, what would you say it will be?
Health, especially starting with KP. Defensively, is he going to be able to slide his puppies and move his feet defensively? Because Dallas likes to target the 5-man and pick and roll. I know they might mix up the matchups a little bit, but they're going to hunt to put Porzingis in pick and roll. Secondly, offensively, being able to spread the floor. After 35, 40 minutes on the court, how does that calf feel? Is it getting tight? Is it getting fatigued? So those things are going to come into play over a 6-7 game series, which we all anticipate this going 6 or 7 games. So the health of KP and just the health overall of everybody.
Yeah, it has been the postseason of injury, right? That has defined so much, and we hope that it does not define these finals. Drea, how about the KP factor here? How would you describe the significance of his health, not only playing, but playing well, to the Celtics' chances?
Well, it's huge. I mean, when you think about Kristaps Porzingis, 1, stretching the floor, 2, rim protection. What have the Mavs done so well in the playoffs? Lob threats, lob passes, Luka, Kyrie, they're coming off of ball screen actions, which the Celtics, do they try to double team when it comes to ball screen actions? Can Kristaps Porzingis move laterally to extend a double team? If he's in drop coverage, can he bounce up to contest a shot, or can he jump up to contest a lob pass? Like, the health and how he's moving out there on the floor, especially defensively against this Mavs team that looks so connected on the offensive side. Because think about it, when your calf hurts, lateral movement, jumping quickly, moving backwards, all of those things impact defense. And when Kyrie's coming off a ball screen or Luka's coming off a ball screen, even in drop coverage, people think that's easy, but you know, reacting out of drop coverage when you're moving backwards is really hard to do.
That's the worst coverage to play against those guys as well, against Luka. He gets in his sweet spots. He's too big. He can get the guard on his back. It's just a difficult decision to be in drop coverage, especially, once again, if you're coming back off injury.
So that's one player from the Celtics. Wendy, you were telling me your key to this series is another of the Celtics.
Jason Tatum. And I want to be clear, I'm not expecting Jason Tatum to lead the series in scoring. I'm not expecting him to put up 40-point games. That's not the way their team is designed. But Jason Tatum has to have a great series. And this is his time. He is playing well. I know people are thinking he's underwhelming. I reject that. I know he's had some tough shooting games early in the playoffs. He averaged 30, 10, and 5 in the conference finals. He needs to have an impactful series, not necessarily by counting his stats. He needs to make his presence felt. If he does that and leads the Celtics, they can get this championship. Again, this is Tatum's moment. He's been working towards this for his whole life. He is in great position to be successful with a great team around him.
Yeah, you keep calling it TSOT, the summer of Tatum. Get the biggest contract of all time, win a championship, and win a gold medal next month. And then you, Drea, were telling me that you're looking at a full-fledged backcourt battle.
Absolutely.
Here.
I mean, it's Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, those two against Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. The backcourt battle. Who's aggressive, who impacts their will, who enforces whatever they want to do, whether it's facilitating, finding their teammates, defending, hunting the paint. Those 4 players, who takes over and who leads the way for their teams.
Yeah, it's like the Fab Four going into this series, obviously, on both sides. The edge and experience, I guess I was about to say it goes to the Celtics, but Kyrie has been there. And frankly, he's the only one who has a ring to bring to this series. UD, how do you see that matchup, the 2 Celtic stars, the 2 Maverick stars? Who do you give the edge to?
I just got one question real quick. Who do I blame for those highlights? Is that Himbo that just put all heat highlights up there? Who I need to make a call? Who do I need to make a call? All these points Jason Tatum scores, that's the only highlights we could find? Come on now, guys.
You can blame Himbo. He had nothing to do with it, but I enjoy him getting blamed anyway. Go ahead, but UD, how about it? How about the 2 stars on one side, the 2 stars on the other?
I got to go with the 2 stars in Dallas. I really do. And as much as I've seen those guys in Boston up close, I just believe these 2 guys in Dallas are just unstoppable. We figured out ways in Miami to not stop those guys, but to kind of hold those guys. But I just think these guys right here in Boston, regardless, if you switch to pick and roll, you can't guard Kyrie with a switch. He's going to go by. He can finish with either hand. He's a wizard with the ball in his hand. And we've seen what Luka does against the switch. And he makes great plays out of the double team. And by the way, Derek Lively is a great playmaker if you do try to double Luka, and he hits him in the short roll. And now we got sprays to guys like Derrick Jones Jr. and all those guys. So I just got to go with Dallas and those 2 guys and the way they're playing the game right now.
Luka's teammates are averaging 57% off of his passes. That's what makes him so great. It's not just that he's scoring 35 or 40 or whatever. It's that what he can do as a passer. He's one of the most brilliant passers I've ever seen. If the Celtics are going to have to win this series, that number has got to come down. They cannot give up 57% shooting, and a lot of those are those easy lobs.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Some percentage of that are uncontested dunks, right? That are coming off of those alley-oops.
Well, the Celtics defense, they are not a team that's blitzed a lot this season. I mean, the Celtics starting five with Kristaps Porzingis in the lineup, they blitzed 11 out of 933 ball screens during the regular season. That's about 1% of ball screens. And to think about it, when you're going in practice and you're trying to simulate blitzing a ball screen, that's all fine and good. I know they've had a lot of time off. They've had a lot of time to work. You can't simulate Luka in the ball screen. They're going to have to learn on the fly if they choose to blitz Luka.
Let's make sure fans understand what you're saying. You're saying that when they set a screen basically anywhere on the floor, but with Luka, they set them way, way, way deep because he has so much range. You're talking about instead of, are we switching? You're talking about both players
Force the ball out of
him,
his hands.
Forcing
diving
the ball,
at him.
Getting the ball out of his hands, yes.
And what's the key there? Udonis, then what happens? If you do that wrong, what happens?
You're cooked.
Well, you're out of rotation. First of all, you have to put pressure on the ball and make him uncomfortable. Try to get some deflections. Try to make him make some lob passes. If he can make a straight pass on a dime, you are in trouble. So you have to really just create some confusion on the other side of the basketball and make him confused a little bit. Secondly, you have to understand rotations and build the habits. And I think that's where Minnesota went wrong. They did not have the blitz habits in the rotations. I literally saw Rudy Gobert go from a blitz to the first pass out of the pick and roll. There's no way the blitz guys should be recovering to the first pass. So if you don't have these habits, and once again, you're trying to get these habits in the finals against Luka and Kyrie, I don't really think this is the time to start.
All right, so that's something to watch for early and often as this series begins tonight.